Rosetta's Warpath Sigil does increase her damage by a significant amount because of the way it works with her roses. But I think it's a pretty interesting move by the devs to make it work the way it does, because it does put her in a very awkward spot in comparison to the rest of the roster. So before I actually talk about her damage output now and what her Warpath Sigil does, I just wanna talk about a few things with regards to her character and what she is actually supposed to be doing as her role in the roster, because I think it's pretty awkward right now. First up, we'll talk about is her healing. So she has two sources of healing. The first one is her roses. If you go X, X, Y or square, square, triangle, she has her regen buff. You see on the top left, she has a green icon, indicates that she is now healing the whole team. So that is not really that good of healing because it doesn't heal the team by a lot, which I understand the devs don't want it to heal too much because it's more or less permanent as long as you don't get downed or as long as the roses don't wilt. Your whole team is just gonna have regen for the whole fight. So that's why maybe they don't want it too high. But a problem with this is it also doesn't get improved by improved healing. So it doesn't increase the amount of healing they do if you have improved healing equipped. The only other healing she has access to is Bouquet, which plants her roses in front of her and then does a heal on the whole team, a one-time heal. You can improve the healing with the improved healing trait or sigil, but it's not really that good, especially if you compare it to Gran and Jita, to Catalina, to Cagliostro. Her healing is just really not that good. Bouquet is not really used for healing. It's mainly used for just replanting the roses because you want her to have her roses up as much as you can. As a healer, she's not that great. You have much better healers in the roster. Now, if you want to talk about utility, she does have Mesmerize, which is a taunting skill. It would be a pretty cool skill if it did work on bosses, because you're not able to taunt the bosses with Mesmerize. So it's a pretty terrible skill. You don't ever bring it. You do have Bouquet, I guess, removes debuffs, but it's actually mainly only useful for Lucilius. Other than Lucilius, you don't really need it. Bouquet, as I said a while ago, is just mainly used for replanting, not the debuff removing, because characters like Behemoth, it has no use. I think the only other one it has use for is Piat Alpha or Piata. But Piata is basically trivial now. You don't really care about the CC that it does or like having any debuffs, because all the bosses that you're fighting other than Lucilius is very trivial. It's very easy to fight. You don't need to worry about debuffs at all. She also really isn't that good at SBA gauge. If you saw the video I uploaded, the last one with Vasaraga with the Cagliostro we're playing, basically got her SBA every 30 seconds. There are much better characters for focusing up on SBA gauge because she's not that good at filling up SBA because her roses they don't really fill up the gauge. It's your auto attacks and your skills that fill it up. If the roses were filling up the gauge with their auto attacks, then it would have been good for her with SBA fill rate, but it doesn't work that way. Now let's talk about her Warpath Sigil and her damage. If we look at the Warpath Sigil, it boosts her attack, defense, and regen buff. Basically, her combo buffs by an okay amount. It's not that big. It's not really crazy. 15% on attack, defense, and 3% on regen. It's not really that good. The only thing that's good with this one is the enhanced damage it does for your Rose auto attacks. And that's pretty significant because it doesn't really just do twice as much damage. Because right now we're doing 73,000. That's our cap with Warpath Sigil and the enhanced damage. That's 73,000 times 4 per rose, because a level 4 rose attacks 4 times. It does so much more damage exponentially when you have 3 roses, because that's 3 times 4, 12 times 70,000. That's like 870, yeah, around 870,000 damage. It does also help with your skills. You have skills that directly affect your roses auto attacks. Firstly is Iron Maiden. So it says here when you press X, it causes your roses to attack. So that's even more auto attacks from roses with Iron Maiden. And then you have Spiral Rose. When you do the attack, it causes your plants to attack as well. So you have 2 skills that directly affects your roses auto attacks. So this makes Warpath's Sigil even better. It just makes you do so much more damage than before there was the Warpath Sigil. So with that damage, it does increase the amount of damage she does, but I don't think it's really comparable to other DPS characters. Before I actually go into the other DPS characters, let me show you the build we have right now. I have Alpha, Alpha, Beta, and then Tyranny, War Elemental, Life on the Line, just mainly for damage. And then I have Tyranny with quick cooldown because she wants to have her abilities back as fast as she can. So Glass Cannons is pretty big for this because with Rosetta being, you can now just stay really far away from the enemy because you can just rely on planting and replanting your Roses because they do the bulk of your damage now. So Glass Cannon is pretty big because you don't really worry that much about getting hit and getting dizzied because you're really just moving really far away. And I have Nibble also because that's the only sub trait I have with Glass Cannon. I don't really have any other Glass Cannon. Critical hit rate with critical hit damage, and then improved dodge, quick cooldown. You already know about quick cooldown, but improved dodge because it does help with not getting hit so that you don't get dizzied with Glass Cannon. And then she has Rose's Awakening, and then of course Warpath. I feel like you don't really need Profusion. The best thing I would say is probably Rose's Blooming because it does decrease the attack interval of your Roses, so they attack much faster. So I think the better build here is probably Rose's Awakening with quick cooldown. And you might be wondering why I have Alpha. Beta, of course, because she's a skill-based character. But Alpha, because her Roses are considered as auto attacks. So if you have Alpha, if you have anything that will boost your auto attack damage cap, it will actually help out your Roses auto attacks. That's why I'm using Alpha. And for her Terminus weapon, I have these imbued stats, critical hit rate to level 10 because that brings up my critical hit rate to 90%. And Guts, I think I really wanted Guts because that helps me live an attack and makes it so that I don't have to worry about going down and having to replant all of her Roses. I think for stamina, initially I was pretty happy with it, but you don't really need stamina. You're really already hitting your damage cap with her damage buff from her Roses. The only thing I would really change here would be probably just replace stamina with quick cooldown or cascade or uplift, running together. Any of those would be good. So for her over masteries, I got really lucky. I have skill damage cap up by 20% and then normal attack damage cap up by 20%. I think that's the more important one because that directly affects my Roses auto attacks. So I really wanted normal attack damage cap up. Also critical hit rate. It's only at 10% right now, but I think that's good enough. It brings up my critical hit rate by 90 with my critical hit rate sigil. I think I would really only just want to make it 20%. And the last one instead of stone power could be possibly skybound damage cap up. Other than that, this is something I'm pretty happy with. With that build, let me show you the damage we're able to do. We'll do 30 seconds because as I always say, this is the more realistic one. Not really 60 seconds. We'll do 30. So we're gonna plant your 3 Roses. Rose Tycoon just for the poison. And then Iron Maiden. Get the buff. Spire Rose. And then we just do this. I don't know if there's a better combo route here. If you guys know, just please let me know in the comments. But that's how I've been doing it. I have to do the auto attack. After I do the attack boost, I do the square, 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 square triangle because that makes your Rose auto attack even more. So we did 16 million damage, which I think is a pretty good amount of damage, especially for a character like Rosetta, because she's not really supposed to be the best DPS character. And you'll see that 16 million with compared to Basrag, who is a mainly DPS character, that's just around 5 million less damage, which I think is pretty good. That's good enough for Rosetta. With all of that, with all the damage that you've seen with Rosetta, it does boost her damage by a significant amount. But I think it's so weird that they did it this way because it doesn't really make her a good DPS. The gameplay that I'll show you, just showcasing this, you'll see that I do get the most amount of damage, but I think that's mainly because my team members didn't really have good builds. And this was an open lobby, so there were strangers that didn't really know them. If the Tuayan had a decent build or was just using the optimal moves, she was obviously supposed to have more damage than I would. And then Cagliostro, not really DPS heavy character. I also think the Lancelot might be able to do more damage than my Rosetta. I'm not really Lancelot player. I think they would be able to deal more damage. But I think the Lancelot that I was playing with didn't really have a good DPS output. I feel like that's the only reason why I did a good amount of damage in that fight. If I was playing with characters like Percival, characters like Vasaraga, like Id, like Charlotta, any of the DPS focused characters would definitely have so much more damage than I do, and it wouldn't even be comparable. There would be such a huge difference between my Rosetta's damage and their damage. So I think Rosetta, she's an interesting spot because her damage is good. It's okay. It's not the best. We need to see something change with Rosetta. Maybe they would focus on one thing that would make her actually excel in a specific field, in a specific aspect. Because right now, she's like, I don't really know what I want to do with her. She can do damage, but not that much damage compared to DPS characters. She's not the best healer, not the best utility. So I really don't know what to do with her. Let me know what you feel about Rosetta. I'm not hating on Rosetta. I really like playing as Rosetta, by the way. I think she was the third character I fully capped out with all of her, with her Terminus weapon, her full build, everything. So I enjoy playing as her. I just don't know how to play her right now. I don't know what to do with her. I feel like she needs to be pushed into a specific category so that she can actually excel in something. Because right now, she's maybe just, she's like okay in a bunch of things, but why would you be okay in a bunch of things when you have a character that can excel in a specific thing that will actually make a big difference in your team composition? So there's that. Before I actually show you the gameplay, let me know what you feel about Rosetta. What are your builds with her? Do you think I'm wrong? I'll take it. I won't be mad if you feel like everything I said now is a terrible take. Please be civil about it. Please be nice about it. Just let me know. If you also have a different build for her, which you think will actually make her excel in something, then I would also want to hear about that. If you enjoyed this and want to see more content like this, check out my other videos. And please do subscribe because a lot of you are new viewers. A lot of people are finding my content for the first time. So I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel and see more content like this in the future. That's it. Let me know what other characters you have build ideas for. I would also want to hear about those. And yeah, here is the gameplay that I was talking about a while ago. Thank you so much. Peace. Bye-bye.
綺麗でしょ。大丈夫？
いい反応だ。
これはどう？咲かせるわ。スパイラルローズ。さあ楽しみましょう。懲らしめてあげるわ。あらごめんなさい。これはどう？咲かせるわ。これ無駄にはしないわ。咲かせるわ。シンクのバラン。これはどう？咲かせるわ。射抜いてみせる。これで気分。その心臓は素敵でしょ。ちなめ。ランスロット。
一気に攻める。これで決着だ。ロゼッタ殿、
私に任せて。ひらめけアセンション。クルイザーになったら逃れられないわ。さあ行くわよ。花と散りなさい。安心して。これはどう？咲かせるわ。これはどう？シンクのバラに咲かせるわ。これでお仕置きが必要かしらね。素敵でしょ。消えてた。シンクのバラ。これはシンクのバラ。これはどう？咲かせるわ。さようなら。これはどう？シンクのバラよ。これはどう？咲かせるわ。シンクのバラよ。これはどう？咲かせるわ。これシンクのバラよ。あら怒らせちゃったみたい。敵の動きが目を離さないで。物足りないでしょ。ランスロット。
一気に攻める。
あらごめんなさい。咲かせるわ。
アースデトネーション。
花と散りなさい。
この調子でいこう。
これはどう？咲かせるわ。シンクのバラ。これはどう？シンク。お礼を言わせてちょうだい。これはどう？咲かせるわ。スカイラルローズ。素敵でしょ。甘く見ないでちょうだい。綺麗でしょ。シンクの場。この目で捉えた。ごめんなさい。バンドたがわず獲物を入れつ。これでロイドイエード。ちなめ。あなたを知りながら。ロゼッタ。私が行くわね。ダーティーローズ。消えてちょうだい。さあ楽しみに。雷電のエラディケート。
みてえだな。いい戦いぶりだったしまいね。